3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
Man,
I'm Snooks. I'm sorry.
I was trying to catch her. She was making goofy faces at the computer, and I kept asking her, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" "I'm ready." And she kept making these fish faces. So I was trying to catch her, so all y'all could see. There you go, right there. If you're on YouTube, I can't even
do my eyes right now.
Make sure you can actually go see it. Look at that. And so she's gonna make fun of me, and this is gonna be a meme. I'm gonna figure out a way to put this out there. Look, y'all, welcome back. As always, we thank you for coming back to the Married into Crazy podcast. See, we always say you have so many choices, and this is one that we are glad you make on a daily basis. I don't know about all your choices, but I do like it when you have chosen us and to hang out with us.
Yeah, we like that.
You have nothing else to offer?
Okay, so let's just get into it. The Olympics ended yesterday. I was kind of sad. I wanted to talk about it. Lovey doesn't want to, so I'm just going to say that.
I don't know. I feel like I'm Olympic out.
I'm not. I feel, it's so funny though. It doesn't feel like it was only been 17 days. It was only 17 days, like
Only.
2.5 weeks. Only. I felt like it was all summer, but here we are, August, and in a month, football starts. So
Football started this weekend.
Real football.
It was preseason.
No
Hey,
one watches
real
that.
football started. The Steelers beat the Cowboys. That's all that matters. I don't care if it was preseason. I don't care if it was the fifth string versus the fifth string.
Anyway,
Steeler Nation, baby. Look, we probably just gained a bunch of subscribers just because I mentioned the Steelers. I try not to do that too often.
I don't think so.
No, but I am. I'm kind of Olympic. Don't get me wrong. The last episode that we had for the podcast was about how marriage is like the Olympics and that it's an Olympic sport. Mm-hmm. And we talked about the adversity. All those things are absolutely true. And I'm not going to lie. Yesterday's closing ceremony was really cool. And some parts of it were sad. I loved how they recapped a lot of stuff, but I'm done. I'm ready to move on.
Well, everyone's done, babe, because it's over. So
anyway, see, but it's funny how those things that you focus on, because, for the what? Did you say last 17 days?
17 days.
So for the last 17 days, everyone's focus has been on the Olympics, right? So people have been overcoming adversity, they've been doing things. And I swear that I've been seeing more red, white, and blue everywhere I go. It seems like the blue's been popping, the reds have been out there. And I think it has a lot to do with, the Reticular Activating System, the RAS. Are you familiar with the RAS?
No.
So the RAS is a little bit of science for you. Before I go into the science, let me just put this out there because we always wait to the very end. Go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and hit the little button that says share and send the podcast to a friend. Invite a couple that you know, a married couple, a couple that aspires to be married, a long-term committed relationship couple. Send them the podcast. We love to actually get more individuals involved in the conversation, to get the feedback so we can ask more questions and get some more topics and so forth. But if you've been enjoying the podcast, please go to wherever you're listening, hit that share button, and then share it with somebody that you care about, that you think would really benefit from this podcast, as well as all the other 152 that we did over the course of the last 3 years.
Can I just say something real quick?
Nope.
I just want to give a shout out to Mike Tirico. I know you don't want to talk Olympics, but I like him. I like how he did the Olympics. I just shout out to him because I like him.
What does that got to do with anything?
Because we were talking about the Olympics a little bit. You didn't even let me get it all out. And then you just moved on. And I'm like, I'm still here.
So y'all see how it works in our house.
They do.
As the man of the house, I said, that's it. There will be no more.
Wow.
We're done.
Wow.
We have moved on.
Wow.
And then she was quiet.
Because I let you talk.
She had mind control.
Oh my gosh.
She said,
whatever. No, I felt compelled to say that. I wanted to say that because we were talking about the closing ceremony, and then afterwards, and it was. I get emotional about those kind of things. I like it. It's touching. Anyway, so shout out to Mike. Continue.
See how it goes. Done. She got to get her last dig in.
Yeah, we're done.
That little piece. Well, getting back to the reticular activating system.
Okay, I'm ready now.
It's a part of your brain. It's a very real thing, right? So let me give you a story. So if you were walking, okay, I talked about how I'm seeing red, white, and blue everywhere, but if you actually have gone to a car lot and you purchased, this car, you've been thinking about it. You're like, I'm going to get this particular car or I'm going to get this kind of Jeep. I'm going to get this new Jeep Wrangler truck or whatever it is. And I'm going to get it in this burgundy red. And because nobody else has this, it's amazing. I'm going to be the only one on the road with it. And then you go through all that and then you buy it. And then you get to the light. As soon as you left the lot, and next thing you know, you look around at the light and there's 3 other vehicles that look just like yours that you had never seen before. Mm-hmm. That's an example of the reticular activating system, because it's a part of your brain that really focuses on and controls your wakefulness or alertness or awareness of those things that are around you. It guides your conscious, but it also talks about, or I won't say it talks about, but it also limits what you're able to see. It's this little piece of your brain, and again, it's located in the hypothalamus, it's very real, where it limits, because we're being inundated all day long by so much stimuli. There's noises, there's sights, there's data, there's so much stuff that comes from us, whether it's through our phone, people we're talking to, the radio, television, your computer screen. There's so many different things that are coming at you. And your RAS is a filtering system that can actually filter all of that to help you identify exactly what it is you want to focus on.
Mm-hmm. It's like the gatekeeper of information.
Yeah. It was kind of an easy way to say that.
Oh, okay.
I was like verbose and all over the place, but when you sum it up,
that's why I'm here, baby.
Well, and that's exactly what it is. Look, when you take a look at the RAS itself, it's this thing that I want to say it controls consciousness. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think there's a major part of this that we can utilize or tap into to help us with our relationships. Mm-hmm. So like, for instance, if you want I mentioned Jeep earlier. So if you want a gray SUV, think about that gray SUV. I mean, it's really that simple. If you want to become more muscular, and I'm not saying you have to put in the work, but you have to put things in your mind that are going to make it front and center in your consciousness. So that way your subconscious continues to work on it. So the way that works within our relationships is if we focus on what's good in our relationships, if we focus on the type of relationship that we want to have, the type of marriage, if you focus on the type of spouse, the type of husband you want to be, the type of wife that you want to be, not who you presently are, not what you're doing wrong, not what has happened in the past, not the marriage that your parents had, not the marriage that your cousins had or that your neighbors had or your friends had. Focus on the things that you want to aspire to. And then what ends up happening is the RAS takes over, and it'll help you filter out all those little things that don't fit with that particular picture.
Well, I mean, it's like Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh, so as a man thinketh, so is he.
Okay.
So like
that was Proverbs 23:7.
Proverbs 23:7.
Okay.
Is that wrong?
No, I don't know. I
was like, okay.
Because we always talk about Proverbs 23:17.
Oh.
So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So you can look it up if you like. If I'm wrong, let me know.
I'm a heathen, so I know I don't know.
Wow. Anyway, so it's like if you're always thinking bad thoughts will eventually become reality.
True.
So the whole thing about the car is so funny that you even bring that up, because I remember thinking about getting a white car. I don't know why I wanted white, but this was like almost 10 years ago. I was like, I think I want a white Camry. It wasn't necessarily that I started seeing white Camrys, but I started seeing white cars like nobody's business. I was like, where the heck all these white cars come from? It's like they just materialized out of nowhere. And it's not even so much that they materialize out of nowhere. It's funny because there's a quote that I read somewhere, and it says, we actively participate in the creation of our reality. It's not so much that our reality changes, it's just that what we notice changes. So,
ooh, I like that. Say
oh,
that again. That was dope.
Huh?
Say that again. That was good.
We we actively participate in our reality. It's not that our reality changes, it's just that what we notice changes.
I like that a lot.
So it wasn't that there weren't white cars on the freeway. I just started noticing them more because my reality started thinking about, I want a white car, a white Camry actually. And then white cars just started I was like, wow, that's kind of.
It's true. Okay, let's talk about all your relationships. All of our relationships.
All of them? No.
No, I mean, think about, okay, so let me take the negative spin. Let me go to the dark side on this. So trip to the dark side. You notice that, okay, your spouse is on your last nerve. And next thing you know, you focus on that whatever that behavior is that's really upsetting you. Then you start to think about all the different things that they do. And all of a sudden, you're just it's almost like plucking it out of the air. And then back in 1987, they did this. And then in they did that and this and that and this. And all of a sudden you're able to focus on those things. But if you sit there and think about, okay, well, this person did something really nice. I mean, it goes both ways. It's what you have a tendency to focus on and consciously make an effort to notice. And then what ends up happening is the RAS kicks in and releases a filter on those things. Says, oh, you like white cars. Well, look, there's a bunch of white cars all around you. And that, not that you don't notice the red and the blue and the green and all the other colors. It's just that they're not as prominent to you. It's just that it's now sticking out. Here's a great example. You go to a restaurant, it's a crowded restaurant. You're having date night. And you've had some difficult times dealing with the kids, or if there's no kids, with the work, challenges, what have you. And you said, we need to go out just to unwind and just sit and just be with each other. You get to a restaurant, it's Friday night. Everybody's getting out because, we're post-pandemic. So to a certain extent, so people are getting out more and it's loud. And as loud as it may be, and you're trying to really focus in on what your spouse is saying to you. So you kind of lean in and you just have a tendency to say, I'm just going to focus on what she says or on what he says. And then you get to the point where it's like, I'm catching everything that you're saying. But now, if you notice, you can't really pay attention. You don't hear everything else that was so loud before because you're shutting it down. The RAS, not only does it control, I guess, that filtration, that filter system that where we can really focus on and see, but the RAS is also connected to every one of your senses with the exception of smell.
I was going to say it, except for smell, right?
Yeah, except for smell. There you go. Keep moving the computer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was putting my cup down.
So
anyway.
Like, he mean. And there goes the computer again. Anyway, whatever. If the computer's moving around, you guys, on YouTube,
wow,
it's not an earthquake.
Do you all hear the tone though? I'm just saying.
It's not an earthquake. It's a Snooks quake.
Wow. What is your what is my RAS saying right now?
No, but it's one. So you're able to focus in. And I think everybody's experienced that to a certain extent where it's like, okay, I can't hear that. And so when you really pay attention and you zone in, so to speak, on the other individual, you can hear everything they're saying and you're focusing on what they're saying, but you no longer, you drown out that noise around you. That is your RAS system in full effect.
Okay. So how does that affect marriages?
Well, because what we have a tendency to do is focus on, look, energy flows where your focus goes. And so when it comes to, it's like the RAS-matazz, the RAS. So the RAS-matazz of marriage is being able to really focus on those positive things, on those traits, those things that you aspire to. What you focus on is where your energy is going to flow and what you're going to aspire to and grow.
So I think that first, though, you have to kind of take inventory of how you view your marriage, or even how you view marriages, how you view yourself. A lot of times it's the information, I want to say, is like how we ultimately perceive the whole world, and in our consciousness, we, like you said, we take on, I want to say, like you said, what I think I said it earlier, like the RAS is the gatekeeper of the information. So how I ultimately perceive the world in my consciousness, it's going to go through, if I'm saying this right, filter through the RAS, which is the gatekeeper of the information. And then it's going to send out little,
disseminate little information.
Yeah, I can't think of anything, any terminology. So I'm doing body languages.
That's the RAS-matazz.
That's the RAS-matazz.
The RAS-matazz, the RAS-matazz.
So, but the thing about that is, if you are critical of your partner, or how are you feeling about yourself, how you feel about marriage in general, some people, they have bad, their experiences or the information that they receive about marriage has been bad based on those that are around them, like who's in your inner circle or your family or whatever. So that's information that you received, and you tend to, well, I'm going to go by that person's experience. And so I'm going to think negative of marriage because of what I saw, of how I saw them or how I saw their experiences, what their experiences were. So you have to view how you think of what you think of marriage, that's first. And then I think, are you critical of your partner? Are you, because all these things are going to affect how you respond to your partner, how you are in your marriage, how you go about your day, how you interact with your partner.
Absolutely. I think all those things, I think you're 100% right. All those things come into play because look, the RAS, the reticular activating system, doesn't distinguish between positive and negative. There's none of that. It's just, it is what it is. Whatever you're looking for, I'm going to give you, or I'm going to open you up to. You want to focus, you want to drown out that music and focus more on this particular individual, I will grant you that. It's almost like your inner genie. It's like the genie, it's like whatever you wish. Not that it's going to grant the wish and make it materialize for you, but it will narrow your vision or your ability to hear or focus on whatever it is you truly desire. So when you sit there and say, and words are important. So if you talk about, well, I'd like to, or I hope, well, that's not activating the RAS. But when you say I intend to, I'm going to, ET always talks about, I can, I will, I must. Those are actionable words or verbs, right? That says I can, I will, I must. Those things are saying, okay. So the RAS then says, boom, okay, let me just zone in on this. I can, okay, I can do this. This is what he needs to see. I want to get better grades. Okay, so we're going to focus on getting those better grades. So we're going to look at all these different things that we need to do. The environment. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing this. And it's funny how the world just starts to open up. Next thing you know, you start noticing commercials for, studying. What was that thing? Khan Academy or whatever. All of a sudden, the banners were always there. You just weren't paying attention to them. But when you make that decision that I'm going to do this, oh, look, there's a thing about for language. I'm taking French, and I didn't realize this. Oh, this just popped up. And I truly believe right now there's a conversation around the world. Everybody's always having it. We talk about it all the time, that, Siri's listening to us, or that our phones are listening to us. And I think that it's really that our RAS is listening to us. A lot of these things, can we sit there and say, oh, I had a conversation with my friend about blah, 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 blah. And then it just, all of a sudden my phone starts showing me these things, or starts coming up in my searches and it's and the other. There could be a component of the phone having, like passive listening, but realistically, there's a lot of things that were there, but now you're noticing it because it's top of mind. And so when it comes to our relationships, just what you were saying, you're looking for specific traits. You want certain traits in your spouse or in yourself. You want certain aspects of the relationship to come to the forefront. So you start talking about, you know what, in order to make my marriage that much better, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And you repeat it to yourself, or you create a mantra or something that you're going to do. Next thing you know, you find that it becomes easier to focus on. I'm going to focus on my spouse. When I come home, the first 10, 15 minutes, I will listen to whatever she wants to talk about when I get home, or what he wants to talk about.
So it's kind of that whole thing you said about I can, I will, I must. Doing that in your marriage, it's like you reshape your thinking and your belief so that I can, I will, I must, those things start aligning, will start aligning with what you truly believe. And then you start imagining, or not imagining, but you're picturing and you're seeing the desired outcome that you want.
Right, exactly. So how does this manifest? Right? How does this come about in your relationship? So I can, I will, I must. I'm going to do more for my spouse. And so you start to actually put out a certain energy where you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be more positive. And then positivity attracts positivity. So if I'm actually aligning myself more with things that I want to do for my spouse, then my spouse starts to reciprocate. Then because she starts to reciprocate, we're like, let's go out, let's go do something. So we're having more fun. We're interacting on a different level, and we're having more fun than maybe we've had in the last several months because of the stress or whatever. But I'm making a conscious effort to actually do something nice for her. She's reciprocating. It's like, oh, this is nice. I like this. So we're going out, we're having fun. We might go to the same restaurant that we always go to or we used to go to, but now because our energy is different, we're having fun. There might be another couple that's sitting close to us that sees us, sees our energy, sees our vibe, and they make a comment like, how long have you two been married? And then it's like, oh, we've been married for, 24 plus years. And then, oh my God, you start going back and forth. Next thing it's like, well, where do you guys live? Oh, we live in, here. And then the other one's like, oh, well, we only live here. It's like, hey, you know what? We should go out. We should do something together. How about you guys? Next thing you know, you're having this conversation. You're attracting this other couple that is attracted to your energy, to your vibe. It all started with you really making a decision to focus on doing something different in your relationship. And then you're gonna be like, oh, I can't believe that all of a sudden we started attracting these other couples that help strengthen our particular relationship. And it's all because it all comes back to the reticular activating system, because you've focused on a particular behavior, a particular action that you wanted to commit. And now all of a sudden you start finding, oh, there's more couples that are trying to do the same thing that we're doing. This is just so weird. No, it all starts with the decision, but it's all about the focus. Now, on the flip side, you want to say something?
Well, it was just funny because when you say it like that, or just it makes me think about like before we got together. I have specific, very specific qualities of things that I wanted in a relationship. And though, there were previous relationships, some had some other qualities, others didn't, or had this and didn't have whatever. And by all other people's what they thought were like, well, why are you being so picky? Kind of like, I'm like, well, I know what I want, and I know what I will settle. I'm not going to just settle for this when I really want that. And so I felt like I stuck to my guns, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to settle. I never feel like I should ever settle, and no one else should ever feel like that either. But in keeping with that idea and that mindset of this is what I want, I imagined and I envisioned, the type of relationship that I wanted, the type of man that I wanted, and people always tease me about, oh, you just want a fairy tale, or, Prince Charming, whatever it is. I'm like, well, I know who it is that I want. I just didn't know what he looked like. And then when you came and everything was great, and I was like, see, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. And then when when you got stabbed, then everything just kind of crumbled, because now I'm going to say it crumbled because my thinking started changing, but it's not it's like, is it coincidental that after you were okay, I couldn't get past what happened, and obviously other people couldn't get past what happened, and the relationship for myself, because my mind went somewhere else, it totally shifted. For me, it just started going down.
That's good.
So I had to, once we got it together, then my thinking started changing back again. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of work that we had to still put into it. But the next thing I knew, what was it? A year and a half later, we're pregnant. I'm pregnant. And, it's like,
you see the pictures of me? I was pregnant too.
So silly. But we went from being on the outs to now we were back better than what we were prior to that, even, the stabbing even happening. And so it was like I had to continuously change my mindset. I had to continuously remember and work on and say what it was that I wanted and rethink and reshape what my belief was about us. You know what I'm saying? About you, about remembering, well, this is what I said. This is what I, because I remember saying, I was like, how I prayed for this man. And then now I didn't pray for this part though, but everything, things had shifted. But then what also helped shift back was, remember when we were like, okay, we're going through it. And, I was like, oh, no, blah, 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 whatever. We don't do that here. We don't do that. We're going to make sure that you guys are okay as much as they possibly could.
Right.
So, but what in that space and in that time, we got a different type of exposure, and my attention, I was redirected to people that were doing what I really wanted to ultimately happen. They were very happy. I felt their energy when I first met them. I was like, that's going to be me and Lovey. I didn't even know these people, but just that energy that we felt, I was like, oh, that's how Lovey and I are going to be. And that's how we were prior to the stabbing. Then after that, it was a traumatic event, obviously, but then my mind started shifting and started, focusing on the other things. It's almost like I didn't necessarily focus on the joy that you were still here. Obviously I did. I felt like I did, but I was so consumed and focused on all the bad stuff that happened because of the stabbing. It started changing and shifting my reality. But I was like, wait, hold on. Where'd that guy go? Or but it wasn't just that guy. Where did I go? I went somewhere else too. But I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I do. I think it's really good what you're saying.
So, but it's like, once it's the RAS, back to, we had to change the exposure, and I had to redirect my attention to someone or something. I won't say something, but to two people basically that, they had the results that I wanted. So I was like, okay, I see what they're doing, because they were the ones I looked at before and was like, that's what we're going to have. So it wasn't until I felt like I really was able to tap back into, what do you want, girl? Redirect that. Get back to where you were. Focus on this or whatever, that we really get back on, get back in line. Because a lot of times in our marriages too, I don't mean take over podcast.
Oh, take it on. Go on.
Well, I feel like a lot of times in our marriages, because depending on where we are at the specific time, if I'm going through turmoil, or if, we're at odds or whatever, you could be doing all the things right, and you were doing a lot of things right, but all I saw was what you were doing wrong because of the way that I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see the love that he had for me. I didn't see the unconditional. I just felt like I was left. I felt like I was by myself. All these negative things that I was feeling. And unfortunately, when we're in a space in our relationship where there's turmoil, or, we're fighting, or we're whatever, we miss a lot of the good things that our partner's doing. At least 50% of it, or 25%, doesn't matter, because the only thing that you're focusing on is that negative, is that bad. And of course, if I'm focusing on that negative and that bad, that's all I'm going to continue to see. I'm not going to see outside of it's almost like I want to see it, kind of don't want to see it, but I do want to see it. So, you have to ask yourself too, what are you focusing on with your partner? How are you with your partner? How critical are you? Are you approving of them? Are you not approving of them? Take a step back and really rate your relationships. What are you doing in your relationship?
This is good. This is so good. I think everything you're saying is just spot on. And I keep coming back to that saying, and it sounds contrite, but it's so true. If you really think about it, your energy flows. How's it go? Energy flows to where your focus goes. And if your focus goes to the negative, all your energy is going to flow in that direction. And when energy is flowing in that direction, there's no energy to go towards the positive.
Yep.
But when energy is flowing, so if your focus goes to all the positive things that this person's, think about this. And this happens quite a bit in some of the couples that we've coached years ago, was you could be in a toxic relationship and everything is just so bad. I mean, like it's just, you can't find a whole lot of positive based on whatever's going on in the relationship for them to justify staying together. But the spouse that's in distress is like, oh, but they did this and they did that. And they're so focused on the positive things that did transpire in the relationship. It's stopping them in some way, shape, or form from seeing all the toxic and negative things
that's true, that
are happening around them. It's like, but he hits you. No, I mean, we didn't have any couples like this, but it was like, but he hits you. Yeah, but he's angry, but you don't see him when he does this and this and this for the community. They're so focused on the little, the pieces of the positive that they can't see the detrimental things that are taking place. So that's the RAS working in a negative space. I mean, you know what? It doesn't know the difference between one or the other, but where your energy is being directed is what's going to grow. It's going to allow that whatever it is. So we're bringing this up because people say, oh, we want a relationship like Will and Jada, or we want a relationship like Denzel and is it Paulette?
It doesn't even have to be a famous person.
Right.
It could be your neighbor or something.
Right. I want to be happy like that couple we saw the other day at the park. I want to, it's like you want these things, but here's the thing. Each and every one of us have ultimate control over creating that. Do you remember the phrase that you said? Because I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you said something about controlling. We have the tendency to create our reality.
Oh, the quote. We actively participate in the creation of our reality. It's not that our reality changes. It's just that what we see changes. We notice, but what you notice changes. Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But it's that sentiment. You want to be like that couple you saw at the park. You want to be like that couple that's in your mind that you've always wanted. You want to be that spouse that you had a picture of how you were going to greet your spouse or your loved one, your significant other, how you're going to do a certain thing or how they were going to be. Put your energy there. Focus on that and that alone. No, I mean, if there is like that other example, like where they're beating you and this and the other, no. Get out, run fast.
Yeah, get out.
Run fast, run strong. But we're saying that, barring all of that, barring abuse, and you have a choice, I'm either going to focus on the negative things or I'm going to focus on the positive things. Focus on the positive things, and you're going to find that the energy that you're creating and the energy that's going to flow in that direction is going to make things so different for how you feel. And then you're going to find that how you're being reciprocated is going to change. And it starts with the two of you, and then it will actually emanate from there to your environment. And you'll find that you'll start to put yourself in environments that are going to feed the energy that you're creating. You're going to decide, oh, you know what? Let's go to what do they call it? Like a retreat. Let's go to a couples retreat. You're going to find that you're going to end up being around other couples that are very similar in nature. And they're going to find people that you want to hang out with to kind of bolster that. And you can't put your finger on it at first. It's just like, I don't know. I just feel better when I'm around these types of individuals. And so anyway, it comes back to that RAS, the RAS-matazz, as we're going to call it.
Yeah, and that is so true too. We talk about our iron tribe, and that's basically what the iron tribe is. We have an iron tribe for couples. We say as iron sharpens iron, so as we should sharpen each other. And that's what married couples, going to retreats, or you find a couple that's of like mind, like yourselves, because let's just be honest, there are some couples out there who their energy is not really good. Some people are in toxic relationships, and those are not necessarily the couples that you want to hang around, unless you're, I say this in a way that, because you might be that light for those people. But if you're not strong in your relationship or you're in your foundations, then I would advise, hey, might want to back off the toxic folk. But if you're able to be a light to them, people are trying to, I want to be like you guys. Okay, well, this is what we do. I can't say this is how you do it, or then you're going to be like this or whatever. I can say this is what I do. I went on to marriedandcrazy.com, and we went through their coaching or whatever. But sometimes you just need to change your exposure, and that's so huge. Changing your exposure will open your eyes to different things. You never know until you see something else. You'll be like, oh, that's what I really want.
Absolutely. Let me just say this about being the light for other couples to see. I caution you, because if your light is being generated by a match that is lit, no, I mean that your spark is small, but your spark it's for you, and it's warming you, and it's providing light for the two of you, but it's a match, and there's still work to be done to grow that match into a bigger fire. Protect that match.
Yeah, be cautious of the wind that blows.
Right, exactly, because it can't get blown out. Now, if your light is a torch and you're strong, then yes, definitely. You know what? I encourage you to be that light for others, to be around, to seek that warmth, to be there. But act accordingly to the level of light that you have. If you're young in your relationship, young in your marriage, and you feel like other people need to see what you guys have or whatever, I would say, do it, but in a very small amount, only because you need to protect and grow that light that you two have. Mm-hmm. The people that Snooks and I came across later in our relationships, don't know that we could have been around them from a coaching standpoint early on in our relationship, because we were in years 1 through 4, because our light was like, look, it was like, when the pilot light, I don't know if y'all understand this. Somebody's going to resonate with this. When the pilot light goes out and you got to get down there and you got to light it again, or else the whole house, like the heating, mm-hmm. everything goes out because of that pilot light. You got to protect that pilot light at all costs, mm-hmm. or else you're going to freeze.
Yep. And if you can't light it, you got to call the people to light it.
Right.
I remember doing that.
I've done that too.
I was like, how come there's no heat coming out?
So make sure that you are protecting your light, but know that a big part of what you need to do is really focus, control your focus, and focus on the positive and what you want in your relationship. Mm-hmm. That's how you get that RAS-matazz, that RAS-matazz in your relationship.
RAS.
So what we're going to do now is focus on the I can for couples. Boom, boom, boom.
That's my job.
Nope. I'm taking over. Actually, yes. I'm messing up because I shook it up with the old ones in there. Okay, so again, the I can is that tool that we use. It's 40 different affirmations, the little things that matter in our relationships, and we focus on this once a week. So yours says,
I can wash his or her car.
Oh, it needs a washing too.
You
gonna actually wash my car?
No, I'm not.
Even with the power washer, all that?
Oh, yeah, I forgot we got a power washer. Yes, I will.
You gonna do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But hold on. You can't be out there talking about, yeah, that's why you're laughing.
I can't direct?
No. Does your thing say I can direct?
Does that mean you're gonna vacuum it too?
No, it's a wash car.
Oh, okay. So mine says, oh, I can do the laundry.
Oh.
See, she's excited. We should trade. She just gave me.
I'll do the laundry. You wash the car.
Amen. Amen. I think we'll both be happier too. So when you pull these, make sure you focus on recognize your strengths, recognize your weaknesses. No, these are things to definitely work on. Hey, we had a lot of fun with this one. I hope you got some information out of it. It wasn't too jumbled. I felt like I was maybe sharing too much information. I don't know. I hope you guys really enjoyed it.
His nerdy came out. It's okay, babe.
And I hope it came out in a way in which it was understandable, because I was really engaged when you were talking and what you were.
I was engaged.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I really like how you broke it down.
Oh, in the simplest form.
And yeah, it was good. Okay. So anyway, hey, look, y'all, we enjoy you each and every week, and we ask that you share the podcast with those people that you love and care about. And until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.